What's up, Internet? It's Thursday. Better be wearing your Technicolor Dream Pants for a marvelous 70-degree and sunny Thursday out here in blissful Seattle. And I just bashed into the table. Smooth work. Going smooth here on a Thursday. How are you all doing? How are you doing? How are ya? Well, I'm doing fine. My aquarium, I'm continuing to work on it. The 180 is fairly well growing in now and pretty well established. A couple months in, just set up, and things are growing and kind of getting the vibe of where things need to be. And today, working on the center of the tank. If you saw yesterday's video, I was working on the right-hand side of the tank, and I started working on the middle of it. The Sterigene repens is not growing to my liking. It really is not. It's really not going and doing the typical robust growth that I expect. As you can see here, I am cutting the polysperma, which is the first thing that I did. Of course, I'm going to talk about the Sterigene while I cut the polysperma. The polysperma is actually a very simple plant. It's a great starter plant for anybody out there interested in getting into adding live plants to your tank. It's one of those plants that'll pretty much grow in just about any environment. It's really not picky. Temperature, pH, all that kind of stuff. It will generally grow in just about anything. I think I've even grown it in blue gravel at one point many years ago. As you guys know, I have Fluval stratum, ADA, and fluorite black sand as the substrates in here, and they are working pretty much as expected. I have to definitely keep up with the water changes because I don't fertilize this aquarium. I have done EI dosing and all sorts of fertilizer dosing in the past. I just don't now. It's not something that, to me, it feels like an extra step for overgrowth of plants, and definitely does make up for a lot of deficiencies, that's for sure. But to me, it just feels like a real extra step that isn't necessary for a more stable growth that I'm looking for. Like I said, the Sterigene is not exactly doing what I want it to do. The UG carpet is growing very quickly and starting to take up a large enough amount of space that I'm starting to sacrifice other plants out of the way to have a large carpet and just kind of let it do its thing. It's covering a good 2 feet. The carpet's about 2 feet by 1 foot at this point. I got some close-up shots of the Amanos and some of the Achilles and whatnot thrown in the video here too. Don't let them distract you. Just revel in their beauty. Through the magic of the pause button, my audio went and trailed off on some kind of weird tangent, but don't let those beautiful pictures distract you, even though they're very small format, so I don't know how well they're going to show up as far as quality goes. I was taking very small pictures for the thumbnails of the video. The Monte Carlo is getting overtaken by the UG, so I'm having to relocate and move the Monte Carlo around a little bit. The Monte Carlo will be occupying the left-hand side of this tank, so I won't be moving the Monte Carlo on the left side, but the stuff that's kind of in the middle and interspersed here, I'm just kind of bumping it back to get it more in the area of the Ammonia that's back there, and hopefully grow around the base of the Ammonia, which I think will be reasonable. The Monte Carlo hasn't really taken off as expected. It hasn't really just gone buck wild like I thought it would in this tank, although I am seeing some fairly steady growth out of it as it started to root and uptake and get going here. So we'll see over the next couple weeks how well it's growing. There is a nice up close shot of the Australe Achilles that I added in here. They're doing fairly well. They, the two pairs in there are kind of battling a little bit on a regular basis, but yeah, they're feisty little fish, so what are you going to do? As you can see, I'm re-adding the polysperma in the back here. This is a very tall tank, so I'm trying to bush out the back a little bit with this polysperma because it's really, like I said, it's a really simple plant that's really easy to grow. It'll uptake a lot of it'll in a tank situation where you're having ammonia or anything like that. This will uptake a lot of those extra nutrients out of the water and help stabilize a situation that might not otherwise be set up to be filtering with plants. But I would highly recommend it. It's not an ugly plant, and it's really easy to take care of. Basically, just once it grows really tall, you trim the top off. I trim it at the base, probably an inch or two off of the substrate. That's where the new sprouts will come out. And then I cut the middle section out and just discard it and replant the top. That's how I go about propagating this plant. The older leaves in the middle will generally get some algae and all sorts of crap growing on them, and they won't look that great. So it's good to just pull that middle part out and just discard it. Or from time to time, I'll have a tendency to throw that kind of stuff in my sump and let it resprout, and then trim it up and replant it somewhere else. But I think it's coming in pretty nice in the as the background. It's a great background plant. You can see here once I'm done, it's obviously not as tall and growing out in the weird direction that it was before. Now it's nice and closed off and in the back, and we'll get some new shoots coming out of that in the next couple of weeks, and I'm pretty stoked on how well the scape is coming together. Otherwise, other than just a few missteps here and there, some algae issues, which are pretty common for a brand new tank. It's more of a patience issue than anything else in me keeping up my water changes and balancing my light out. My light was running at, I think I was running my light at 11 hours. Now I'm actually down to about 8.5, which seems to be the good balance point for this tank, and generally is enough time to me for me to view the tank and see what's going on. It's obviously enough time to grow the plants. So you can see the Sterigene, I moved it against the back wall. I'm going to let it propagate and continue to grow back there. I think eventually this is probably going to end up in the foreground on the right-hand side of the tank is, I think, where I'm going to put it. Tomorrow is going to be the Ammonia gracilis, and the left-hand side of this tank, the Hygro deformis that is on the left-hand side here has grown ridiculously tall, and I need to do the same thing that I did with the polysperma, which is trim the tops off, replant the tops, and trim the center pieces out, and I'll actually throw those in the sump. They're great root feeders for the sump to be floating around in there and pulling crap out of the water that I don't want for my fish. The gudgeons are doing great. They're still breeding and actually becoming a lot more active in the tank now that they've seemed to have acclimated and have little hidey spots and things like that. And we're coming up on the little subscribe thing. If you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button. Don't be a lazy punk. It's free, and it's much appreciated to help grow the channel. And we have a bigger subscriber base, then hopefully we can't continue on new projects. The Amazon portal thing just popped up. There's an Amazon store down in the comments below. The Amazon store link pops up in the store below, or in the description down below, or on the homepage. Go there, order your toilet paper, toothpaste, and whatever you order from Amazon, along with I have a long list of products that I use in my aquariums there, so you can reference those to find out whatever you're looking for out there. Here's a final little frame, and that's going to be the end of this video. All right, stay tuned for tomorrow. Later.